what data you have received. But we have shared the full anonymized data set with IUCA, so we will refer you to them about further insights on those numbers. Did I miss any questions?
I think by and large, he has responded to the key issues. Others were observations, and I think it was between IUCA and the centers. And I think, Dixon, you'll have to clarify. But more importantly here is that on the issue of student satisfaction, I think it will be prudent that the feedback is shared with the centers because it's a good tool for improvement. So if it is going to be shared with IUCA, I would think it will be prudent that IUCA shares with the centers as soon as they receive that report. And the report captures a number of variables. So all those variables are very important for the centers to be able to cross-check and get a very good feedback as far as that's concerned. Dixon, there was a question towards you towards the end, and I think you could respond quickly to that before we transit to the next session.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Ine and the Technopolis team. Yes, we have a protocol as part of the guidelines for CAPS, which was shared by centers. So it's the same protocol that will be used for verification just below the guidelines. So there is a protocol for that. With respect to satisfaction survey, yes, we have the results. I know the one for the previous year was shared with all centers. So this result is going to be shared immediately with all centers for the current round. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that is it all. We can clap for Technopolis and thank them so much for sparing time to make this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move to the next session that will be on national regional accreditation as reflected from the PBCs. That's a particular area in which the special regional international accreditation that we're lagging behind. So we will go through this presentation and hear reflections in relation to what challenges, what opportunities we have had in as far as that is concerned. Allow me at this particular time to invite key people who will be coming to the floor here to deliberate on this very important matter. Just a quick one, let me just get the details. We will have with us Dr. Ismail Nyorenda. I hope he's here. Dr. Ismail Nyorenda, please come and take this floor. Can we clap for him as he walks here? Dr. Ismail Nyorenda is the Chief Registration Officer of the National Council for Education in Malawi. I want to thank you so much for coming. And then we have Professor Kaimba Onguti from Moi University, the acting Vice Chancellor from Moi University. Sorry if I pronounced it the wrong way. I think I must have pronounced it the way I do it at home. Yes, so thank you so much, VC, for coming. We will also have, I hope we have the Vice Chancellor of Eduardo Mondolini University here. He is not here. Do we have a representative to speak for him? Yes, please come and take the floor. We'll also hear the reflections. And then, interesting on the program is also Dr. Robert Aine from IUCA, who is myself. So I'll try to put on two caps and as far as concerned. Okay. But then before we give you the reflections to present, we will have a presentation by the center leader on the lessons learned in obtaining regional accreditation. That is by CS OGET. I am not very familiar with the abbreviations, but we'll have a presentation from this center first, because we want to hear their reflections and the lessons they have learned in obtaining regional accreditation. Yes? Oh, Professor Kumbani. So please come and give us your reflections in as far as your interaction with accreditation at that level is concerned, what challenges you have had, how difficult or how easy it has been, so that we can be able to learn some lessons from you. So you'll do that presentation, then we will transit into the panel discussion. So my panelists will remain here and listen to the presentation from here as we proceed. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this one. I'll share some of our challenges and lessons learned during the accreditation process here. Before that, I'll just give a small context of the center, how it is, so that this context will be important also to understand really the difficulties that we then I'll talk a little bit about the regional accreditation roadmap, and then the accreditation process of the two MSc program at Faculty of Engineering. The CSOJET was established in 2017. The main project development objective was to create an institutional capacity in terms of providing a quality postgraduate education with the relevance to job markets, also to carry out quality and relevant applied research. Also, the second objective was to develop or increase partnership with other academic institutions, also to increase the partnership with the industry and private sector to guarantee this impact. Also, the third objective was to train on reference programs, based on reference programs, helping other higher education institutions to improve their quality, improve the institutional governance and management practice, and assume the role of the role model for other higher education institutions, and also to disseminate knowledge and practice. So those were the project objective. The center itself is located at the Modern University, at the Faculty of Engineering in Maputo, and was established in 2017 with the objective to be a regional center of excellence for training and on the research of national and regional and international reference in oil and gas engineering, helping the country and the region in developing and the development of capacity in the field of oil and gas. Its vision is to be a reference and a model of excellence at the national, regional, and international levels. There's also some specific objective that of this center also is indicated there, which is the support and training of engineers, geologists, and health and safety engineers at MSc and PhD levels. It's going to put this on the screen. Must be. Also to strengthen this research capacity, to develop measures and undertake actions towards the sustainability of the centers, provide specialized and updated relevant training, and support the development of curriculum and seek for their accreditation. So this was one of the specific objectives of the center when it was created to support the accreditation of the programs. And also to look for equity and gender balance, as well as transparency, accountability, and secure monitoring and verification, as well as regular academic audit and evaluation procedures. One of the problem that the center has that will make the main challenge is the context of the oil and gas in Africa and in the region. So in East Africa, Mozambique is the only one country that has got oil and gas. The other countries, we find it in the northern part of Africa, and then the western, which is Nigeria and Angola. So this made really a challenge to the implementation in terms of regional integration in this area, in this matter. So in terms of programs that have been developed to train oil and gas professionals in East Africa, in Southern Africa, we can identify 4 main areas in the oil and gas industry. The exploration and appraisal area, which dominated upstream, where the higher degree professional needed are geologists, petrophysicists, and geoscientists, and also can identify the production and storage area, which also is included in the upstream. We have the professional leaders are the petroleum engineers, which is reservoir engineers, drilling engineers, and production engineers, and also we have the processing and transportation, which is the downstream area of the industry. Here, the professionals that are needed are the chemical and the petrochemical engineers, the process engineers, the mechanical engineers, and electrical and electronic engineers, process and instrumentation engineers. Then we've got the market, sales, and contracts in health and safety engineers. So also in the midstream, here we need professional in law, business management, economics, and health and safety. Some of the expected outcomes of for the implementation of the center was trained around 150 MSc in petroleum engineering, hydrocarbon processing. This is more or less been achieved. Enroll 12 PhD students. Now our target now we are around 25 PhD students in the forest information fields. Also to train 100 professionals through short courses, and also secure at least 30% female regional students in the academic programs. So the program that have been supported by the center, you can include the 6 MSc programs, which one of them has been existing before the center was created, and 5 was created during the existence of the center. Was support the development of the curriculum was supported by the center. Also, we had PhD programs. One of them in oil and gas, which has just been approved last year by the university, and another 3 that existed now being also part of the support by the center of oil and gas. So some of those MSc programs you can identify here: the MSc in Petroleum Engineering, Faculty of Engineering. This program was developed with the support of the private sector like Anadarko from US, and also we had US universities, which supported us in the development of the curriculum. Then we also had the Norwegian project, which also is now the Norwegian project is helping in the review of the curriculum, and also in creating the necessary laboratories to support the PhD research. The second program was the MSc in hydrocarbon processing, also in the Faculty of Engineering. This one was developed with the collaboration with Sasol, it's from a company from South Africa. Also a collaboration with 3 universities from South Africa in the curriculum development. And the centers provided scholarship and teaching support to this program since 2016. MSc in Health and Safety and Environment. This one was developed in 2020 in collaboration with Technip, a French oil company operating in the Rovuma area. And also we had the MRV, which is also Mozambique and Rovuma venture that incorporates several oil companies. And we had also the support from your French universities in the curriculum development for this program. Other programs that also have been supported by the center is the MSc in Oil and Gas Economics and Management, MSc in Fire and Buildings, and the MSc in Sustainable Mining. This last one is another national university located in Tete that we supported in the development of his MSc program. During the implementation of this program, students benefit from internship with the oil and gas companies. Some of those pictures you can see is the visit at Sasol in South Africa, visiting Temane in Mozambique. So this with the collaboration with Sasol. So students have been benefiting the internship on those companies. The PhD programs that have been developed, the Science and Technology and Energy, PhD in Science and Technology of Hydrocarbon that have been approved last year, as we said. And now is enrolling this year about around 11 students, from which 6 are national, 5 are regional students that will be enrolling in this program. Some short course that we have offered by this center is a drilling operation control, geology for petroleum, local content for the oil and gas industry, international general certificate in occupational health and safety, international certificate in safety and petroleum operation. Those two short course now is offered within a private company from England, NEBOSH. Now we are seeking its mainstreaming of this content of this course within the curriculum of the Faculty of Engineering, which would enable the graduate from those courses from the Faculty of Engineering to get those international certificates. Yeah. Now, going into some of the short course that has been offered by the center. Going to the center also has been organizing the symposiums in oil and gas to disseminate that its research is being undertaken. So far, we have organized 2 symposiums in oil and gas, one in 2021, the second one in 2023. And this year, we are organizing the 3rd symposium in oil and gas. There's some of the summary of the main achievements that have been obtained, achieved during the implementation of the objective of the Center of Excellence. Now, going into the accreditation, I'll start by saying that the process of accreditation looked at the guidelines that is from the East Africa Regional Program Accreditation, from the Inter-University Council for East Africa. To say that before we engaged with the IUCEA, we tried to engage with some other international organization for accreditation, but we faced some challenge. And one of the challenges we had, it was before that we didn't have the issues, although we had the program, national accredited programs, we didn't have the institutional accreditation. This was one of the difficulties in starting the international accreditation process. So within the standards and guideline process of IUCEA, this has got several standards. I'll just mention a few of them. One of them is that the program must be accredited by the National Commission. The second standard is that the curriculum development shall be intentional, inclusive, systematic, and And the development of the curriculum should follow regional quality assurance standards and guidelines. So we need to make sure that the program really follows those guidelines in the curriculum development as established in the regional quality assurance standards in East Africa. The curriculum shall be adequate in content, structure, and organization, and also they should demonstrate its consistency with the East Africa quality framework in higher education to provide a clear progression path with adequate content and take into consideration some student diversity. Also, the program students in the program shall also be supervised by adequate and relevant staff within the prescribed duration of the program. So this is another aspect that the reviewer will look at it to see really if the program has got those supervised and adequate staff. And each academic program shall be accredited for specific modes of learning and a clear quality management policy and practice for effective curriculum development. In terms of flow chart of this program, so we need to start by the application to the IUCA. We have to submit all the required documents, like the self-assessment report. The self-assessment report could be based on the same document that has been submitted to the National Accreditation Body. So this is the base to do the self-assessment report to be submitted to IUCA. Then we need to also show the accreditation documents and also the letter of support from the National Accreditation Body. It's important to on this process. Those are part of the document that need to be submitted to IUCA. Then you can go to the second stage, which is the review. So within the review, the IUCA can now indicate it. So in the first part, so after the submission of the document, so there will be an administrative review by IUCA. When it passes this phase, then it's goes to the expert review. Then the IUCA will constitute a panel of experts to review all the documentation that has been submitted. If there's no objection within this phase, then the appointed expert will now make a review the documents of the curriculum, and also look to the specific documents in terms of standard, how it's follow the standards established by the IUCA. During the submission of our documents of the two programs, we did have some problems in one of them. In one of them. After that stage of reviewing of the expert, if it's passed, then it will go to the third stage. Yeah, it will go to the third stage of the implementation. At the moment so far, as I said, we submitted our document to IUCA. As I said, one of the difficulties we had is to have the institutional accreditation document, and this was obtained in 2024. And from there, we requested a letter of support from our National Accreditation Body, and that was part of the document that also were used in submitting all the process. The two MSc programs that are undergoing now the process of accreditation is the MSc in Petroleum Engineering, which has got a national accreditation as well, in 2021, and the MSc in educational processing, which also has got the national accreditation. As I said, so far what we have done is to submit the self-report, the curriculum development, the curriculum document, the deliberation by the University Council. The preliminary report was, after submitting those documents, the self-assessment report, the curriculum document, and the deliberation by the University Council, and the accreditation by the National Council, we had the first reports. The curriculum in the MSc in petroleum engineering was approved, the first part by IUCN, but the MSc in hydrocarbon processing, it failed. The reports of the experts came with some recommendation. And this recommendation that was given has been used as a base to improve our curriculum document. And because the university were in the process of reviewing the curriculum, we actually used those advices from the report from IUCN to improve our document. And this, after improving this document, has been resubmitted to IUCN, and that now has been approved to go to site visit. The site visit for the BOF programs has been established has been scheduled now for 1st July 2025 for BOF programs. So this is how we are in terms of program accreditation. Thank you very much.
I'll request Prof, you can come and sit also amidst us here. You never know, there could be one or two questions that people want to ask you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Professor Antonio for that detailed presentation, and I think he has given us their journey in as far as the regional accreditation is concerned and where they have reached now. I will quickly request the panelists to give us, in only 2 minutes, each reflection about what they do in relation to accreditation. It could be at the national level, it could be an experience at the regional level. But first, I'll just give a highlight in terms of what we have done or what we have been doing it as IUCN at the regional level. I directly superintend issues to do with regional accreditation at IUCN. And particularly, I just wanted to highlight a few things and a few experiences that I've seen over time. One of it being that usually there are 3 stages of accreditation, 3 stages of assessment. The first stage is very easy. It's a preliminary assessment to see that all the documentations are in place. So before we can have a thorough review of your curriculum, we want to be sure that you, for instance, you have been accredited at the national level, you are in good books with as far as the National Accreditation Agency is concerned, you have got permission from the university to submit this program for accreditation. So those kind of things, we tick the boxes to see that all is well. And that is the preliminary. Really, the preliminary is about pass or fail. It's not really about failing, it's about, do you have all the documents? If you don't have, then we get back to you and say, please avail all the necessary documentation. The second stage of assessment is very important. That's now looking at the document, and this document is assessed by independent assessors. And these independent assessors are 3 of them, 2 of them being at the regional level and 1 being at international level. So these assessors do not get to know each other, and they assess these programs independently of each other, and we expect that program to score 70% or more. So anything less than 70%, we defer this program back to the institution, and we'll tell the institution to review those areas that have been flagged off by the assessors. Particularly, I have seen key things that keep on coming out as far as the program assessment is concerned. One of them being the structure of the program. In some of the programs, they say they're not well structured. You see the flow is not logical, the structure is not okay, the sequencing of some of the courses are not perfect. So as a result, you find the program is not resonating with the contemporary realities of today. The second bit being the depth of the program. In some of the programs, it's a master's program. The depth is not reflective of a master's program. So these are some of the issues. The last bit, which is also very important, is about the flexibility of admission. In some of our programs, there's only one option for admission. You don't have flexibility in admission in terms of use of credit accumulation and transfer as a base of admission, the use of recognition of prior learning as an option for admission, the use of micro-credentials as an option for admission. All those ones in some of our programs are lacking, and these are realities of today that we have to work along and juggle around. So these are aspects that we have seen missing. And also some other aspects which I have seen as a reflection is that there are slightly some little bit of different regimes in terms of accreditation when you reflect at it at national level and also at the regional international level. So there is need for harmonization. And in some others, there are issues to do with staffing, the staffing for the program. So once you don't have a program having the core staff, it becomes of a challenge for such a program to be able to meet the requirements. I know that not so many institutions have done site visit, but for the few institutions that have had site visit, we have observed the following challenges. One is that the site visit is organized by the center, and then you don't have some of the members who teach in the department being part of the site visit. So as a result, some questions are asked directly to the department that teach the program, and then you have members of the center may not be able to adequately or appropriately answer those questions. So it is important that when you're doing a site visit, involve everybody who teaches in that department. For instance, if it is chemistry, then we would expect everybody who teaches chemistry to be part of the engagement in as far as that site visit is concerned. So that is very, very important. And then there are, of course, a few things that come up in terms of facilities for international students. We're impressed that in one of the universities, they had a center for languages. They also provided special facilities for international and regional students to make sure that they're quite comfortable. And then you find that the transition rate or the success rate from one semester to another or from one year to another was quite high. The last bit, of course, as you say, what we also do is that we provide capacity support, capacity building support to the institutions that would wish to apply for regional accreditation. So if you wish to apply for regional accreditation, you need a lot of support. We are available to provide the support. We have done that in Malawi. And we are also willing to provide support to the agencies. So the agencies for higher education, the agencies at the national level for accreditation, we are available to provide that kind of support. And we are also considering having a meeting in future or a workshop in future where we can deliberate as commissions and agencies for accreditation across the region to look at matters of accreditation. So I thought that gives a little bit of reflection on what we do and how we've been doing it and some of the challenges that some of our institutions have faced and how we're trying to grapple around, trying to resolve some of those challenges. I will now move straight to, in no particular order, but I think I will start from here with Dr. Carlos. Dr. Carlos is sitting here for the Vice Chancellor of Eduardo Mondlane University, but also important is that he's a member of the National Agency on Quality Assurance, which I think issues to do with accreditation are very close to his heart. So I would just wish to find out from you in terms of your own experiences on matters of accreditation, how the agency has been dealing with that one, and also how the university has been dealing with matters of national and regional accreditation. You could just give your highlights in about 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, accreditation is very similar across texts, and Mozambique is not different at all. In Mozambique, our agency is called National Council for Evaluation and Accreditation of Quality of Higher Education. And what we do, we have 3 groups that work together. One group is responsible for providing assistance to higher education institutions, because our external review begins when the institutions themselves have carried out a process of self-assessment. So we have a group that helps assist institutions, trains them, and provides them with the necessary equipment, manuals, etc., so that they know precisely what they are expected to do in the self-assessment process. In other words, what I'm saying is that institutions are expected to have self-assessment commissions. For example, if they are to submit a course, then first of all, they need to have a self-assessment commission for that course. And this self-assessment commission will produce a report, a self-assessment report, and it is this report that is submitted to our agency when they ask for accreditation. So this is the very first document. The other group is the group that is responsible for external assessment of programs, institutions of higher education. This, pretty much like the IUCEA, this is done by external reviewers. The reviewers are not part of the agency. They don't work for the agency. They are contracted by the agency for them to do the review, which means after having been contracted, then they go through a training process, yeah, where they are evaluated, and then they can then be selected as reviewers for specific courses. Now, after the review panel has done the work, then this work is submitted to the agency, and then it goes for quality certification, and then the institution can be accredited, or the decision may also be not to accredit the course. Now, why is this process important? I think accreditation is important at all levels, national, regional, and international. The difference is the scope. If we look at just the definition of the term accreditation itself, it is a formal process by which an independent body evaluates and certifies that an educational institution or program meets established standards. So, if you like, regional and international accreditation, or even national, of university programs is crucial because it ensures quality, recognition, and competitiveness of higher education. And it's possible for us to break down this importance into 6 parts. For example, we can, part number 1, we can talk about quality assurance. Yeah, so this process ensures that academic programs or an institution meet rigorous, predefined standards. This is very, very important. Second one is recognition and mobility. And we also have number 3, employability and competitiveness. Number 4, institutional reputation. Number 5, funding and partnership. Some partners require accreditation for them to fund the program or whatever. And we also have student confidence and informed choice. It allows students to choose programs that they know they have quality. Now, in summary, national, regional, and international accreditation enhances quality, trust, and global competitiveness, making it an essential component of a robust higher education system. Now, in terms of challenges, one of the challenges we face in Mozambique, number 1 is culture. What I mean here is that many of our educational institutions don't have this culture of quality. So they see external review as supervision or controlling them, like attacking their autonomy. So it's very important to train them, talk to them so that they get to know what it is and how important it is. The other challenge is the know-how. We're talking about standards, guidelines, processes, and procedures. People need to know these things. I was talking about self-assessment commission. It needs to be trained because there has to be a self-assessment prior to external evaluation. The other challenge that is also frequent here is financial. It can be expensive, and we feel that there is a need to find strategies to minimize the costs because everybody is complaining. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Carlos, for that. One of the things that you have mentioned is the question of autonomy, or we have it called the big university syndrome. In most of the African countries, the big university syndrome is seen significant when it comes to accreditation. And the big universities will say, but we know what we are teaching. And why do you want to assess what we teach? Because I mean, we are responsible for all other small universities that have come up. We gave birth to all those universities. So you usually get that kind of challenge. So I'll take you straight to the commission for higher education here in, or the Commission for Higher Education in Malawi. And just to give us your reflection in terms of this bit called the challenge. We'll start from that aspect called the challenge. When universities think their autonomy is being attacked by accreditation, what is your reflection? I know the biggest university in Malawi is University of Malawi itself. The oldest, perhaps. I don't know, they're still the biggest. What is your experience in dealing with universities like that? What has been your challenge in relation to national accreditation? And how have you been supporting the universities in Malawi to achieve regional accreditation? Thank you.
Thank you. So I think I'll look at the challenge. The last one. Let me start with the issue of the support. So in terms of support, what basically we do within the council, we've got like within the department that is responsible for accreditation, or the quality assurance department, we've got the registration department, the accreditation, and the quality audits, standard and quality audits. So all these departments provide different support. For example, look at like I know like University of Lilongwe and Mzuzu University, they have programs under the Center of Excellence, and they just attained accreditation last year. For Lilongwe University, for example, when they wanted to do the national accreditation, before that, normally we do what we call pre-accreditation visit. So we need to support the institution. Like maybe the colleagues have mentioned, the issue of self-assessment is all the same across the board. Because for according to our regulation, we cannot visit you before you submit a self-assessment report. Well, that's the first point. We need to appreciate your preparedness, because we don't want to look at a situation where we go there and find things are not in order. But the challenge with the self-assessment is that at times, the institution, they do self-assessment as a way of just ticking the boxes. They don't appreciate what is it all about. They think it's just a requirement that they need to tick a box for us to come and do the assessment. So just to appreciate how we do our assessment is that for our case, we do the site visits where we bring the expert. And in terms of the expert, for a program, what we require is an expert in the field. If it's a bachelor's, it means somebody should have at least a master's or above. If you're doing a master's, it means the expert in that field has to have a PhD in that field. So, and then also have a librarian who has to look at the resources, and then we bring an administrator who has to look at the student support and everything. So like three people that will look at a program. So with that approach, if it's offered online, then there's another an e-learning expert. So with that, it means these are the people that will look at the program. These are the fellow, we use the peer review approach, people who are also in the field of, we also use the same academics from the same field within Malawi across, but currently with the issue of full external review, we picked a problem that we can bring the external experts. So in short, why I'm mentioning that, because these are people that will bring a critical eye to the program. So it's very important that even the institution, they put things together. And the same thing is that how do we correct our data? Our data is corrected through various means. The first thing is the documentation, because in the self-assessment, they tell us what they've done and what everything. But when we go on the site visit, we review the documents, and then we do interviews with the students, lecturers, and all critical stakeholders on site. So, and then at the same time, critical to our processes, we know that different accreditation process that happens. Like, for example, in the same region, like SADC, others will do accredit before institution register program. Our process is different. You first have to implement for at least 2 years. But before you graduate the first cohort, we go and assess. For that reason, we need to put all the resources have to be in place, because we need to look at resources like books, lectures, laboratories if it require labs, and what have you. So all these institutions need to really put them in order before we come. That's why our pre-assessment visit is very critical. That's how we support. Even the other center from even the Mzuzu University, when they wanted to do the accreditation, they had to also request for our support. Zone actually, the support was a bit different, because they, other than the accreditation, they wanted to look at how also they can package their curricula and their reviews. So we do provide that support, because our understanding is that accreditation is not like, for example, the policy. Actually, we relatively new on the block. It's about 10 years. We clocked 10 years last year. We did our first cycle of accreditation in 2016, 17, and 18. And between 22 to 20 to today, we're doing the second cycle of accreditation. So even to institution, the concept of accreditation is relatively new. So we really need to support them and appreciate the need. Now, you've come to the issue of the, this autonomy and the big fish on the block. I think I would say that maybe the first sake of accreditation, there will be issues, like things that you've said. People would say, we made you. Even in chair, you also need accreditation. But now I think people have learned that accreditation is a way to go, because like in the call it said there, it gives an external input that also boosts even your stand when you're saying we're doing the right thing. It's good beyond your own person, your own voice, because when you say I'm doing it, with as a human of a tendency of thinking I'm doing the right thing, always I'm right. But when the external voice comes in, add the weight to it. So I think that realization is really made this second cycle, believe you me, I think it's institution calling for us. Like I remember the first one was chair pushing, but now I think the tables are changed, is the institution calling. I think the other issue, even the issue of region and international accreditation, let me quickly point out, I think is also pushing that, because the regional and the international accreditation body, they require that for you to be accredited, you need to have the nationwide accreditation. So for that, then I think it's also another push factor that is also helping. So basically, I think currently, I wouldn't say we have that problem, but really it was there, but now I think it's automatically vanishing.
Great.
Thank you.
That's great. I think the key thing that I take from you is that the law is the law. And if there's a loan accreditation, it does not matter how big the university is, should be able to follow the law. And I think the commissions and the agencies for accreditation should be able to follow the law. But also, more importantly, from what you have said is that the aspect of insisting on national accreditation first as a basis for regional accreditation is very important. So institutions are compelled to come for national accreditation before they can seek for regional or international accreditation. I'll move very fast to Professor from Moi University. I know that Moi University has achieved international accreditation. So yes, please. So we want to hear from your own reflections, what exactly you did right and what you did wrong. It's not always about what you did right. What did you do right, what did you do wrong, and then eventually achieve the
Okay,
international
I wish I could get Ben Rohinda, or anybody who can do this for me. I want to show evidence on the screen, but it's the evidence on my phone. Are you able to do it for me? So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me pronounce my name correctly. My name is Haemba Ongeti. Haemba Ongeti. I teach at Moi University. And before sitting where I'm sitting now, I was for 7 years Deputy Director of Quality Assurance at the university. Now at Moi University, we think that the accreditation process should just be natural. Because you're saying people agree with what you are doing. You are accredited, you are known to be doing the right thing. We've gone through ACAS in Germany. Right now, we want our engineering programs to be accredited, to be recognized by the Washington Accord. That means our engineers, the engineers from Moi University will be able to work anywhere in the world. And that is the purpose of accreditation. So that we are known to be doing the right thing. So in this ACE program, the center was able to work incessantly for years to get certain programs accredited, and there are many. The center leader yesterday explained how there was capacity building of faculty in the first place, how to write programs, how to present programs to the Commission for University Education in Kenya. Now, the Commission for University Education in Kenya is also rather thorough, but the idea is to say,
Wait from there.
okay, fine. Okay. They are rather thorough in what they do, because they want to see you doing it. They want to see you showing the faculty. Do you have qualified people? 3 senior lecturers per academic program, facilities, 2 rooms per academic program, and all that. But before you go there, at Moi University, the Committee of Deans has to approve what you've done. And then Senate has to approve what you've done. And then once that is done, we then send it to the Commission for University Education. Now, Moi University has a vision of being a 3rd generation university. We are dreaming of being an entrepreneurial university. So in the process, we are taking innovation very seriously, to the point that our vision now, our vision for the university includes the word innovation. But the programs that were presented through the center were focused on the framework, which looks at 4 types of learning. And that's what they did, and they did it very well. First, just factual knowledge. Factual knowledge, you know. Yes, you know the capital city of Mozambique. Then conceptual knowledge, reasoning. In our curriculums that went up to ACAS, there is that aspect of reasoning. And then what we mostly don't teach in our curriculums, in our programs, is the idea of practical or procedural knowledge. What people say is knowledge how. How are these things done? So you know, you can reason, but do you know how it's done? And that's where our programs are very strong. Sometimes we say in Kenya that Moi University was an innovation, and because it was the 2nd university away from Nairobi. It was an innovation, and it teaches innovative programs. Then finally, we talk about metacognitive knowledge. So in every course, in every program, those 4 aspects, those 4 types of learning must be seen to have applied. And then through the training that was facilitated by the World Bank funding, all our lecturers were trained in curriculum development. And as Deputy Director of Quality Assurance, I was there in that journey with them. So now the programs that we have at the national level, that there are 7 at national level. We have MSc in analytical chemistry that was approved, PhD analytical chemistry approved, PhD textile materials, PhD, and so on. But then we also went to ACAS ACAS is the Agency for Quality Assurance for doctoral programs. And we got PhD in renewable energy accredited, PhD in materials and textile engineering accredited. We got a lot of support from Moi University management. Whatever we required, they provided. The time we required, they gave, they allowed, and this was done. Of course, ACAS makes certain demands on you, which are just similar to what the Commission for University Education require in Kenya. Do you have the staff? Are they qualified? Do you have the facilities? Are they adequate? And then, most importantly for ACAS, is the connection between the outcomes, the activities, and the assessment. The learning outcomes you set out to achieve, the activities that you engage learners in, and then whether you assess those outcomes or not. Many times, and that's where those ones who don't want accreditation want to thrive, many times we set curriculum which is only relevant to the lecturer, and then we want to teach that curriculum, and then we assess without making reference to the outcomes. So the assessment, the questions we ask in our schools, in our exams, are never connected to the outcomes. And that's why no one would want accreditation, because it tends to restrict you to the straight and narrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear panelists. I know that I'm standing here between you and the tea break, but I think it is prudent that you would wish to ask maybe one or two things in form of clarification. I don't want to say that you flew all the way from wherever you came, and then I limited you without asking a question. So I'll give the floor now to us. You may want to ask one or two things. For those from Malawi, I brought the main man is here. If you have not achieved accreditation, crucify him. He's right here. So if you have any questions to ask, this could be an opportunity for us to ask. Of course, we can have a follow-up question during the tea break. These colleagues are still here. Any question, clarification? Yes.
Mine is actually a congratulations. I want to say to everyone on the stage, as someone who's been with ACE for a very, very long time, the progress that has been achieved across your centers, across your systems around accreditation is so admirable that I sat here through the session with my colleagues feeling really proud of the work that's been ongoing and hopeful for what's going to happen in the future in your sectors, because everything you're doing is at the highest quality and what is projected to really be needed by your sectors in the future. So congratulations to you all. No negative feedback, which I know is unusual from the World Bank. We're really, really proud of what this project has been able to accomplish across the ACES and your university. So thank you very much.
Great, great. Great, that's a huge appreciation when it comes from the World Bank. It means a lot to the centers. Yes?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, presenters. Mine is a general question to any of you. How do you handle accreditation for virtual colleges or universities, where you would want to do site inspection, look at libraries, and we've got e-books, where you want to see buildings, we've got virtual classrooms. How do you handle that, given that education is now taking that trajectory? Thank you.
Okay, maybe the question is, how do you handle it as a process when the assessors want to do it virtually and you at your distant location? Because I know that you have physical locations in those institutions. So we'll get one person to answer that. Yes? Okay. I think that seemed to be the only question. I will ask, I don't know whether, Prof, you have had a virtual interaction and as far as assessment is concerned. If you have not had, I will ask my colleague from Malawi, how would you handle that? I don't know they have had such a scenario, but Prof, we'll start with you. Oh, there is a hand here. Okay. Prof, just
Thank-
hold on to that question.
Thank you. Just a quick question, Prof, from Moy University. I won't even attempt to pronounce your name, but thank you for your great presentation. My question is around like international accreditation and would like to understand like how international accreditation, was value added to the university accreditation process. What did you learn from the international accreditation? And if at all, it trickled into the national accreditation policies in any way. Thank you.
Great. What value addition was it? So we will start with you. You could respond to that.
So thank you. Thank you very much. Now, international accreditation. No, let's put it this way. You can drive a car even without a driver's license. People drive cars without license. So you can teach your curriculum in your university in your own way without anybody knowing what you do. You can continue doing it. But for us, international accreditation gives us an international platform on which to shout. We then say, we have been accredited by the Washington Accord. Our engineers can go everywhere. Fortunately for us, because of the framework we use in curriculum development, which is international, which is based on the Bologna process, which says, Bologna process, anybody in Europe can go to another country and continue. If you are second year in Belgium, you can go to Britain and continue. So that's what we've tried to do. Now, when you give us international accreditation, we are saying our students from Moi can go anywhere in the world and continue wherever they are. Credit transfer can be accepted. But apart from that, those international bodies are emphasizing 21st century skills. And so we want our students to meet the requirements of the market, the job market in the 21st century and beyond. There was an earlier one on, I don't know if they've done that. Her name starts with H and it's very long, but I will learn. By the time we leave, I will have learned your name. The other one on online assessment. First of all, so first of all, there is assessment for online teaching. And normally that they can do online, and they do that by checking your system, your ICT system, your ERP system, your learning management system. They do that. But when it comes to physical facilities, usually they prefer to come and do it physically. They will do, like the Commission for University Education will accept your self-evaluation online. They will accept everything online. They will even, the first assessment that the peers do, peer evaluators do, they can do it online and they give reports. But now the last thing they must do is to come and see your resources. Because if you're talking about labs, we shall evaluate labs when we see them. If you're talking about a farm, agricultural farm, we'll evaluate when we see it. Whatever it is, we want to see. I don't know if you can, because photos, people take photos and you can take photo of the same thing and send to your accreditation body and it won't be fair. That's what I would say. So normally that last element of physical evaluation of resources is important. A colleague said, I think today, that even when they're coming to see the academic staff, the faculty, sometimes it's better to see the people themselves. Because what some creative universities do is to get the biodata, to get the CVs of people who don't teach there, and use those CVs to get accredited. And then once it's done, it's done. But they don't have those people on the ground. So sometimes, like the Commission for University Education will insist that you have the people there. They can also talk to them. What do you teach here? Can I see your timetable? And so on. Okay. Because that thing is common.
Okay. Prof, I just wanted to add one thing before we bring this to an end. I'm afraid our time is running out, and as far as the tea break is concerned. one key advantage of regional international accreditation is the feedback you get. Because you are looking at people giving you feedback, they're outside your region, they're international out there, in the US, in Europe, and the rest, and they are giving you feedback on your program. Once you address that feedback in that program, you're not the same. You're not comparable to another program in another university that has not been exposed to regional and international accreditation. Bottom line is that that person is trying to align your program to their program in the international world. So like you say that you're not the same. Your quality of your program is not the same compared to what it was or compared to what other universities are having. And I think that is the biggest advantage as far as that accreditation is concerned from a quality dimension. So I just wanted to add on to that. Colleagues, let's make it short because we need to really bring this to an end. There's another session, 1 minute, and then we'll have Professor Antonio for also a minute.
Yeah, so I just want to quickly touch the issue of online. So for us, like in Malawi, what we've done is for the online, we've created their own standards. So we've got standard guideline for the hotel at the same time of an assessment too. But we be different. We do accredited online universities, but our requirement is you need to have a physical office in Malawi because we need to know that you exist and we need to protect our students. Because these virtual offices and what have you, next day you vanish, we will not be able to trace you. But we allow, but they need to have a physical office. So that at least even during assessment, as Prof says, even their virtual library and what have you, assess using your own campus and materials and what have you. So that's
Thank you.
Yeah, but maybe a quick one, which maybe in terms of the opportunities which I forgot. As a council in Malawi, we've also just gone to just add weight on the international accreditation. We've just also gone an external review under HAPA 3, which is facilitated by ENQA. So we've successfully gone through that. So even institutional work can learn from us because we, as a mother, we say, we don't just say, we want to say, do as we do. We're not to say, do as we say. Thank you.
You subjected yourself also for accreditation.
Exactly.
As an accrediting body, and I think that's quite commendable. Let's have Professor Antonio in a minute.
The experience that you have is that accreditation could be two sides, program accreditation and the module accreditation. What's happened is that when we started teaching the short courses, some of those are international. And by teaching those courses, the students are assessed internationally, not locally. So all the assessment is done international. After that, they get the certificate, international certification, so it can enable them to get the job internationally as well. And this is what is happening now, that we are trying to mainstream those short courses into the curriculum, so that the student, when they graduate, they already get this international certification. So this organization, they now create condition that those short courses be accredited. So when those who offer, we are accredited internationally.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Can we clap for my panelists, ladies and gentlemen? And to request them to take leave now. And I want to thank you so much for the presentations and the discussions that you've had. Ladies and gentlemen, it's tea break time, health break time. But just a quick one before we go for that. I have some quick announcements to make. Those of us who will be visiting the university after lunch, please register at our registration desk during tea break time, so that we can get to know the numbers and we do appropriate preparation. The university has 2 centers, so we'll be going to those 2 centers. Tea will take 15 minutes, and please let's do that fast so that we can get back here to continue with our discussions. Those who have been registered for today, it's very important for our records to know who is here today, and for us also to do accountability. So please register. When you can get in touch with any of the IUCS staff to get registered, you can visit our registration desk. I wish yourselves good tea, and see you then after 15 minutes. Thank you very much. Members, my 15 minutes I gave is now over. In fact, I gave an allowance of 5 more to make it 20. But I realized that looks the tea is so good, eh? So colleagues from IUCEA, please do me a favor and try to mobilize people to get back so that we can start again. Not very sure, but just get in touch with this gentleman. Members, let's get back so that we can start. I hope you have registered with our registration desk in relation to the visit to the university. If you haven't registered, please register. We want to know who is going where. It's good for planning purposes. There's some logistical arrangements we have to do. So we need to know exactly who will wish to go where for that kind of preparation. But that said and done, members, can we quickly get back so that we can start? 3 more minutes. Okay, we give ourselves 3 more minutes. Colleagues, let's get back to our seats. We need to start. We need to resume with the program. I think we have the quorum. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session will be on community action plan, community action research projects, which we commonly refer to as CAPS. And we'll be looking at sharing of experiences. We are privileged that our chair in the house. Could you please deal with that echo? We are privileged that our chair is in the house. Allow me to introduce our chair, who is Dr. Jolene Ranyororo. I hope I've done that well in as far as pronunciation of your name is concerned. She is a senior program officer, human capital development at Ruforum. Secretariat in Kampala. She has extensive experience in research in plant breeding and biotechnology. Has also obtained a wealth of experience in administration and coordination of research projects, especially research-related community action projects and startups. So we are privileged to have with us a very experienced person in the field going to drive us through this particular session. Can we put our hands together to welcome Dr. Jolene to come in? The floor is yours. You're at liberty if you want to do it from here or you want to do it from there. The whole stage is yours. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You are not happy from tea. Are you feeling cold? Yes. Oh, we're going to work on that. We're going to make sure that you all have cups of tea so that you keep warm. So thank you very much for that introduction. I know my name is a tongue twister for some people, but my name is Runyararo Jolene Rukarwa. I am from Zimbabwe. So at this very moment, we have a privilege to have Professor Kasam from Malawi, Luana, who is going to present to us their experience on aquafish. Aquafish have the privilege of having had an experience of doing community action research projects. They started with us, Ruforum. We provided them a grant, and then they did community action research projects, and they have learned a lot. So from the community action research project, that's when they got the chance to have the Center of Excellence, and this is their second round of having this opportunity to have funds from the Center of Excellence. So they have a wealth of experience. Let's put our hands together to welcome Professor Kasam to share with us. Professor, I am going to give you 15 minutes. I know professors have a lot of words, so I'm going to be timing him. So please be.
Yeah, thanks very much. Good morning to everyone here. Yeah, I was asked to talk about CAPS, but maybe from a different angle, not necessarily what we have been doing so far, but in terms of maybe the projects we have done so far, but what is it that we have done according to this PBC, or in terms of implementation of the PBC and the verification which we are about to have. I think that's what I'm going to share in this presentation. So, for those who are new, maybe you have just been hearing us talking about CAPS or PBC9, but you are not familiar with what it is all about. This I took from the PIM, that's Project Implementation Manual. That's how the PBC9 is defined, where now you are targeting to have number of enterprises incubated, and also you are looking at the spin-offs realized from that. We have, I think, 3 levels of verification and the associated amounts, as you can see on the last column, where you have the description there. So this CAP or PBC9 actually started a bit late. As you know, we are in the final year of the project implementation. And I think there were a protracted discussion between IUCA, World Bank, and the Ruforum on how to implement this CAP. Fortunately, finally, they agreed, and we are working on this with the Ruforum leading the implementation process. And for us in Malawi, actually, we had our first meeting with Ruforum on 7th March when the team visited. And from that meeting is when it was clear how we are going to implement these CAPs. Before this meeting, I should say that there was a draft in terms of the guideline and the verification protocol from IUC and Forum, which centers commented on. And during this meeting, we ironed out that guideline with some changes depending on the feedback which the centers gave to Forum and the IUCA. At least from this meeting, it was clear, especially on how the meeting improved our understanding of the CAP-E. Initially, we have been running CAP without the E. As Luana, we implemented several of these, but now they are introducing the E, which is the enterprise development, which is the key for this PBC. So having done this, then we went to start the implementation. And in terms of the verification protocol, we have 3 levels, but now we are targeting the first level. And maybe I'll be talking while asking questions also, Judy. You remember we agreed that when we are done with this level, then this first level, then we can submit and get the 150,000. But now with the coming in of Technopolis, I think that agreement is thrown out of the window, I assume, because maybe Technopolis would want us to submit later, maybe in August or September, when your approach actually was that at any time when a center is ready with the documentation on the first verification stage, you can submit and get the funds disbursed. So I don't know how you are going to sort that out. So as a center, our strategy was to look at this verification protocol and at least ensure that we have done it step by step to ensure that we don't miss anything which is required. As you can see from there, once you do this first step, you're going to get 150,000, but this should include the report which you do with the community, like you're having the needs assessment with the community, so that the projects you are going to implement under the CAP should be those which are demand-driven from the communities. Then again, we were asked to do an advert. So this can be an advert maybe in newspapers or online, but for Aquafish, we chose the direct invitation approach to shorten the process because we don't have much time. Then we were also required to have an approval, especially on the evaluations of the project, the proposals submitted. And at least you should have 5 fundable projects approved by your Directorate of Research and Outreach. I don't know, maybe other universities have other units which do such approvals. Then finally, we are supposed to show the signed contracts with those who are selected. That's the 5 fundable projects which you can select. Actually, 5 is listed there, but we were told that you can even have 3, but at least show the process. So we're going through this and try to show what we have done at each step to achieve that. So for the community engagements, I think these are some of the pictures which our team took as they were meeting with the communities to establish the needs. And for Aquafish, I think we came up with 3 areas depending on the needs which we identified. The first area is in terms of feed production. And those who are aware of our genesis as Aquafish under AF, we are in the integrated agriculture theme, where we have animal science department, agriculture and fisheries, crop science, as well as food science and technology. So this feed production area is not just on fish, but also livestock and poultry. So we identified that because like in agriculture, feed makes almost 70% of the cost. So we need to come up with alternative feeds which are affordable by our farmers. Then initially we also thought of aquaponics technology as another area. Then we came also with the fish food products as a third area. So we did the consultations and at the end came up with the report having identified those gaps. Then we also drafted the advert and did the direct invitation, as you can see from the evidence that side, where we were targeting some researchers whom we know they have things which are promising in those 3 areas we have mentioned. Then to speed up the process of having the proposals done within the time we wanted, we thought of having a write shop for those we invited so that we can do the work faster and have the proposals. So we did this write shop, and during this write shop, actually, we thought of inviting our sister center, TESS. The idea of inviting TESS was that at least they should introduce the idea of incubation and commercialization to the people we targeted to have these CAPs implemented with. So you can see our colleague there, Sarah, who is here, and another colleague, Dr. Dan Chiumia, who is also here. They are from TESS, and they helped us to do this kind of introduction to our people, because we thought they should have an understanding of what incubation and commercialization is all about, because that's our target. So having done that, then we ended up having a total of 12 proposals, fortunately, under the feeds, the aqua feeds. I don't know why it's cutting the other side, because the first one is supposed to be aqua feeds, and this one is livestock feeds. We had 5. Then the fish food products, we had 3. So our director of research and outreach with his team, they did the evaluations. And because we were targeting to have 5 fundable projects, you can see we selected the 5. But because most of these, actually out of the 12, maybe only 2 did not qualify, because the cutoff point was 70. Only 2 did not reach there. The rest were above the 70. And when we selected the 5, which is required by the PBC, we still found some interesting proposals, which we believe would end up coming with good products. So we added, that's why we have the 1 there in the brackets. So we added 2 more. So in total, we have 7 proposals, which we are going to implement under CAPS. And with that, if all goes well, we'll have a lot of products. Because I can give you an example, like if we're talking of fish feed, we can have a starter, a grower, and a finisher. So to me, these are 3 different products. It's not one product. So if we go by that, even in the poultry or the dairy industry, it means we'll have a lot. And the DRO has done his report, as shown on the other side, and it's already signed as required by the verification protocol. So to show just some of our dream products, this is what we want to have in the end. This is just part of it. I think the first one there is the aqua feed, the starter. Then the guys in the food products, they are thinking of having canned fish. Those who have been to Malawi, we have the sardines, the usipa. We want to have it fresh and canned, and that's what we want to have in the end. And those who have listened to our talks before in terms of the IAS theme, we are also licensed to do the industrial hemp, because this industrial hemp, we need it for our fish feeds or livestock feeds. But at the same time, our friends in the food products, they're using the seed, the industrial hemp seed, to do other products which can be consumed by human beings. So already there's one student who has done this kind of nsima. Those we know nsima or ugali. That's how it looks like actually, the one which is mixed with hemp. So we are blending the maize and the hemp flour to do that kind of nsima. It's very nutritious, unlike the pure nsima, which we know. So soon we'll be eating that when you come to a meeting in Malawi. So there are a lot of products which will come out of these selected projects. So in terms of the feed, we also thought of partnering with some private sector, which are in the feed manufacturing industry. So for the fish feed, because what we have been doing so far as a university is what we call the sinking pellets, but we need the floating feed. So to do the floating feed, you need the specialized machines. So our colleague Steren here is a private sector guy who is into feed. We'll be using their facility to do the floating feed under these caps. And for the livestock feed, we have Libic here, which already we are in a partnership so that we can use their facility to produce the feed of the, of quality standards. So we have moved to have the contracts which have been signed. And at the same time, we were able to hold the inception meeting, which is which has now taken us to implementation stage. But then we thought that we can't just start implementing this with the people we have chosen, but they need to understand IP issues because we are dealing with intellectual property here. So everyone should understand that when they are going into this implementation, then they know what is at stake in terms of intellectual property. So we engaged our TTO. This is the Technology Transfer Office within our university system. So they came and did the training. And as Luana, we have the IP policy, as you can see that side. And currently, all the people who were awarded these caps, they have done the disclosure forms. They just filled the pre-disclosure forms, waiting for the next steps where they will do the full disclosure forms. So we are taking care of the IP issues as well, so that we shouldn't have problems when we are implementing. I brought this table deliberately. This is the one which we agreed with the IUCA and the Forum as the verification protocol. And we have done this first phase, which is 150. But now we'll be moving to second and third phase. The reason why I brought this is especially the third phase. With the time we have, I don't know whether we'll be able to go to third phase where you have established the enterprises. Most worrisome is the second bullet in the third phase where you should have evidence of the products on the market. You show your sales records and stuff. Already we raised this concern with the IUC and Forum that in some of us, our field, we may not go to the end because we need to have several cycles to have the product on the market. So we may end up just having the prototype developed, which fortunately, according to this guideline, can still be verified. But some of these things may not be achieved within the period which we have. So these are some of the things which should be taken on board as Technopolis is also coming to do the verification for this. So the main challenge is the time limitation on the implementation of the caps, as I've already highlighted what will be the challenges there. I think my time is over and my presentation is over. Thank you very much.
I don't know how this mic works, but I think I'll use this one. So thank you so much, Professor Kassam, for sharing with us your experience in trying to beat the deadline with this CAP for enterprise development. And I'm very sure it has been an eye-opener to other colleagues who are also implementing this CAP-E. So for this moment, I would like to open the floor for questions, and Professor Kassam can respond, but I am very sure some of the questions will be directed to IUCA because Professor Kassam was also asking IUCA to respond to some of the issues which he was raising in the presentation. So by raise of hands, if you have any question, comments, please. No? We are all happy? The centers?
I don't think the one asking the question. That will be here. They are worried that
No, he is here. Professor Kasam is here, but I know you have questions which, yeah. So since everyone is happy, it will be great. We close the session early.
Maybe ask IUCA to speak on the verification timelines, and then on the World Bank side, we'll investigate and if there's a need to restructure after we go through the first verification. So rest assured, we'll examine the third point that you made about that last market relevant placement of commercial entities in the market. We'll investigate whether we need to restructure around that. Okay.
Okay, I think there are no questions. Dixon, you want to say something? Dixon?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I missed Roberta's question, but I took note of what Professor Kasam raised. Jolene, maybe yes, Roberta's question.
No, it was DK's question. So you can go on the timeline for verification, and if they need to wait for Technopolis's timeline, or if there's another way to accelerate that to make sure that they get the proceeds that they've earned.
Okay, thank you. So we have about 2 routes that we are going to take, because one is the formal CAP process where you make the call and then you're able to get the first disbursement. But also we've taken note from our engagement with the centers that there are some already existing initiative in terms of products, in terms of prototypes that have already been done through the centers. So again, this may distort the sequence a little bit, and we were just having a chat with Prof. Egero. So those existing products means that we will also verify those under the second criteria and third criteria. If you have an enterprise that is already existing that emerged from the center, so we will also be providing more kind of guidelines to all centers after this session. So there will be some slight flexibility so that by the time we reach August, we have the calls and the selection already done, but also products that are already existing within our institutions. And other initiatives are also taken care of in terms of the incubatees that you may have been working with on other initiatives. So the key thing is, can you link this back to the community? So I think there'll be a bit of flexibility so that we are able to take care of all these 3 at once. I think maybe Prof. Egero can supplement on this. We've been having a bit of reflection on this. Thank you.
Okay. I think the last part of Kasam's concern is that whether the indication of being in the market will be met. We will be harmonizing that with IUCA, but the key issue is that I think it will be a demonstration of route to market. And a demonstration of route to market occurs at various levels. I'm not particularly very worried that you will not be able to meet that target. It's just that we need to make it more concise in how you can be able to demonstrate it and what is the specific evidence that you will be able to adduce or to provide for that demonstration of route to market. I think you will be able to meet it. We will be able to better get back to all the centers and be able to guide you appropriately. Thank you very much.
Dr. Gondwe?
Thank you. So with the changes that are happening now, so this is to IUCA, if a center was ready, just like Prof. Kassam indicated, with everything else according to the previous guidelines, and they were ready to submit. Does it mean that we need to hold on until you give further guidance again? Or we can proceed to submit what we have now, and the guidance can also consider what has been submitted? Yeah, I just wanted some clarity on that one.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. You can proceed to submit. We've received submission and we are able to review and provide guidelines and provide any feedback to you so that you improve. Our target is to provide as much feedback as possible in all the submissions so that by August, when this verification takes place, we are all set and we get this verified.
Yes, please go ahead. Ask a question.
Hello, I'm talking about the CSO JET Center of Excellence. We have not been benefiting from this aspect of incubation, but we, as I see from the presentation from Dr. Kassam, we have gone through. We made a call last year. We received some applications of proposals of projects, and some of them actually fit in some of, as I say, of the objective of the CARPS. I wonder if we can be eligible to also submit those ones as well to IUCN.
Dixon, you can respond.
Thank you, Prof. Kombani. We appreciate that you've gone out of your way and you're trying to also incubate, and that is the spirit. So for this current round, yeah, we will encourage you and provide you with support. We will also speak to encourage Prof. Gero that CSOJET is supported. And yeah, so, but I think that's, for now, that's what we can do. We will be open to give you support so that you can move the ideas that you're trying to grow within the center. But there may not be any adjustment in the PBCs to make provision for CSOJET at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question, Professor Kassam?
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do, we're going to take the two questions together and then we close.
Okay. I was supposed to be answering questions, but I'll ask a question. Since Roberta and Moshe are here. When you saw the verification protocol, the last slide, last but one slide I showed, it shows some breakdown of the I think this PBC is 600,000. So there's 150, 100, 100. Okay. But now I'm interested in the middle section, which has 100, where each incubatee, you can earn 100,000. Now, looking at the number of proposals, for example, Aquafish has indicated, definitely we have so many incubatees out of that, not just one. Because if it's one doing the livestock feed, another aqua feed, there are so many. So is it possible that you can earn for, say, maybe 4 incubatees, like getting 400,000 or 500,000, so that when you add to the first step, which is already 150, you can get the whole 600,000 without going to the third step of the enterprise developed. Is that possible or not?
Can we have another question before the IUCA team responds? Yes, please go ahead with the question. Oh, okay.
Well, I had a question. So I guess Professor DK touched upon it a little bit, but I would also be interested in knowing from the other centers how they are, on the second and the third level of this PBC. And, would also like to know how Roof Forum can come and support them more in like achieving these results. Thank you.
You wanted to respond to Prof. Yeah.
This is a great question. No, currently by the design of the PBCs, the cap is 100,000, no matter how many. But to your first point that you brought up during your presentation around whether that third stream is going to even be met, if we do go into a restructuring around the distributions for the caps and the individual PBC measurements, we can look at this again to look at that exact question that you're posing. So currently no, but there's a possibility that we'll restructure and that will allow some more flexibility on this post. Yeah.
Professor Carol, how we come in to help the centers in achieving the second and the third phase.
Okay, so I think right now the big process or the best process that we are working on with the centers is a three-tier, three-level prong approach. The first part was really getting the centers to be able to prepare all the calls and get them ready and have them out there and people respond to all these calls for proposals. So that first part is done, and I think the centers have been able to do that successfully. The second phase that we are now moving to is in terms of getting the products, the product processes, product design and development processes, and beginning to do market testing and so forth happen. And then really moving and putting that together with the third component, which is largely ensuring that there are all these issues on compliance processes that ensures that the centers can be able to have all these issues well documented. So we are moving that. Some of them are happening interchangeably because the process sometimes requires that. And so we think that that journey that we are pushing and working together with the centers and IUCA can be able to enable us to achieve some of these things ready by August of this year. Some might come late, maybe around September, but we are trying to push for August.
Thank you for the response, and I'm very sure we'll still be communicating with the centers and seeing how best we can help them during this process. And we encourage the centers to kindly reach out to us anytime, so that wherever you're having difficulties, please reach out to us so that we can work together and make sure that we get this money as soon as possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for me and Professor Kasam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I like the bit of put your hands together for yourself. So I think let's put our hands together for her again and for taking us through that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll move to the next presentation. That will be presentation by RSC members. And we are privileged to have Dr. Dairas Ogutu, who will be chairing this particular session. I think I know Dr. Dairas in many angles. I don't know which angle to use for introducing you, but I'll say it this way, and I hope you'll accept me to say it this way. Dr. Dairas comes from the biggest economy in East Africa, and that is the Republic of Kenya. He works with the Ministry of Education in Kenya specifically. He is the director responsible for higher education in Kenya. He sits in one of the organs of IUCA, so he's actually my employer. He sits in the Committee on Common Higher Education area. Put it properly, he sits in the committee that deals with accreditation, regional accreditation. So if something does not go right with accreditation, that's the man to blame. But if something goes right with accreditation, that's the man to praise. And we say thank you to him. So I want to thank you so much. You have always been a good fixture and very supportive to all activities to do with this particular project of ASI2. You have always followed where the projects will take place, and you have done that with a lot of passion. So we are privileged to have you as a member of the RSC to chair this particular session. And please, karibu sana, and we'll put our hands together to welcome him.
Thank you very much, Prof. And allow me to welcome my two presenters from Malawi and Mozambique, kindly. Most welcome. Professor Kasim, I don't know where he is. When he talked about the Nzima with the ugali from hemp, I imagined back home in Western Kenya, we have one of our groups who are related to the Banyoro of Uganda. They are called, I know Professor Hahemba is looking at me. They have an experience with a version of hemp on that end. And I can assure you, yes, it's a very energetic derivative. So if we were to include hemp or that derivative in ugali in Kenya, I don't know what would happen among the Western population in that region. But it's an interesting area to look at. And we hope that further research can extend from Malawi to Western Kenya and Eastern Uganda to be a very interesting area to look into. But having listened to most of us as we engaged here, I was just wondering, and because we are in Mozambique, allow me to use the Mozambican case. Do you know the most famous Mozambican football player? Most famous, who is playing for some of the top leagues in Europe. There's a gentleman called Jenny Gatamo. He's playing in Portugal, all right? There's even someone playing for Atletico Madrid in Spain, Reinaldo Mandava, among others. Now, what's unique about these players? They all have agents. They have agents who engage on their behalf, who look out for the best opportunities for them. And as a result of having those agents, these are players and personalities who are not only celebrities, but who are reaping the fruits of their talent to the best possible scenario across board. Transfer window opens and the agents are really busy because they engage with whoever is interested in your talent and they negotiate and broker the best deal for the players. So what is the situation in our ACE centers? If I take the example from Uganda, the engineer who has built an ecosystem that is producing PhDs, innovators, researchers, does that ecosystem have an agent? If the researchers they are producing, if the PhDs they are producing are the talent they have, they are the players they have, they are key star players, do they have an agent who negotiates on their behalf? So as I sat there and I'm from government, I asked myself, okay, Moi University will ask that we put in money for research. But once we put in money for research, what happens next? They will complain that the researchers they funded that carried out some research and came up with innovations went away with their innovations. The university didn't benefit. So it also means government did not benefit directly. Maybe the economy benefited, but could it have benefited more if the agents were in place? Just food for thought. With that, allow me to introduce my two colleagues here. They are members of the RSC. We'll begin with my brother from Mozambique. He has a presentation. You've got a PowerPoint presentation. Kindly take the stand, or you can present from where you are. There's a microphone next to you. We begin with Mozambique. And I saw Professor Kasim walk in after I had talked about the Banyoro and of Western Kenya and the use of hemp. Dr. Carlos Mataruka is one of the RSC members representing Mozambique. He's the head of Technical Standards, Ministry of Education and Culture, and is a director handling members matters to do with quality assurance. He's a member of the South African Quality Assurance Network. He'll take us through his presentation. He told me he'll take exactly less than 10 minutes. Over to you, Dachari.
Thank you very much. Well, when we were talking, I didn't know you were the moderator. So I take back what I said. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to present the Mozambican report on the implementation of the centers. I'll be talking about the value and contribution of the ACE initiative and also plans for sustainability. Well, I'll be talking about enrollment of national and regional students at both Masters and PhD, establishment of partnerships for collaboration in applied research and training, accreditation of education programs offered by the centers, number of beneficiaries, faculty and students exchange to promote research and training, amount of external generated revenue, publications in recognized journals, community action research projects, incubation of business projects, and finally, I'll talk about the future of the centers in terms of how we hope to maintain the activities in the centers. Well, to start with, in Mozambique, we have two centers. One of them is the Center of Excellence in Petroleum and Gas, Engineering and Technology Studies. This center was established in 2017. And the second center is the Center of Excellence in Agri-Food Systems and Nutrition. This is the last center established in end of 2022. And both centers are hosted by Eduardo Mondlane University. Well, you can see from the year of establishment that the centers will be different and performing differently in different contexts. In terms of enrollment of national and regional students, at both master's and PhD. We have a total of 1,051 students. Well, we have around 8,000 in the petrol and gas, 251 in the agri-food systems. We have 82 PhD students, 25 in oil and 57 in agri-food and systems. A total of 1,133 students in both masters and PhD, and they come from, well, I said 24 countries because the 24th is Mozambique. The other 23 countries are African countries. In this total, we have 111 regional students coming from 23 countries. And the total female students we have in the centers, in the two centers, is 210. Most of them are in the center of agri-food systems and nutrition. We also have students enrolled in short courses, a total of 10,240 enrolled in short courses. So this includes Mozambicans and also from the other 23 countries in Africa. In terms of partnerships, we can see that in this period, the centers have established or signed 48 memorandums of understanding, 8 for gas and oil, and 40 in the agri-food and nutrition. Accreditation of education programs offered by the centers. Well, the centers have, for example, the Center on Gas and Petrol offers 9 programs, of which 4 have been accredited nationally. But there are 2 programs that are in the process of being accredited regionally. It's in the process. Next week or the week after next, there will be a site visit of this process. In the agri-food and nutrition, there are 20 programs, and all the 20 have been nationally accredited, and the center is still in the process of trying to see how this can be also accredited regionally. Number of beneficiaries. Here, we're talking about direct beneficiaries. Looking at those benefiting from master's and PhD programs together with those benefiting from short courses, we have a total of, and also in the exchange programs, we have a total of 11,727 direct beneficiaries. And well, it's difficult to calculate indirect beneficiaries. As we were saying, the faculty and student exchange, they are mostly from the oil and gas, 324, plus 30 from the oil and gas center. So the total is 354. In terms of revenue, external revenue, the Center for Oil and Gas has produced 1.8 million, and the Center for Agri-Food Systems and Nutrition has produced $615,000, and the total is 2,415,000. Publications, we have a total of 216 publications, 186 from the agri-food systems and nutrition, and 30 from oil and gas. In terms of community action research projects, the oil and gas is not really applicable here, but the agri-food systems and nutrition, they have already launched one. We have identified 7 projects and 33 participants under incubation. The 33 participants under incubation are listed here. The areas, for example, agriculture and livestock farming, 18 projects, agriculture, 8 projects, agro-processing, 5, fish farming, 2, and the total is 33. Now, in terms of future of the center's sustainability, it's very important to refer to the fact that although the centers have different levels of performance, right from the start, something very important was done by the university where these centers are hosted, which was make the centers part of the structure of the university. What does it mean? It means that in the structure of the university, we have, for example, faculties and departments and other research centers. So these centers were also made part of that structure, meaning that all the salaries of the staff, all the bills for electricity, water, etc., they are all catered for by the state budget, which means in terms of day-to-day costs, there is no problem. What we see as a big challenge here is how we can carry on with the speed at which the activities are conducted, taking into consideration the budget that the funds that the centers have. So we need to find strategies that will allow for us to carry on with the activities of the center. Of course, paying salaries and water does not make a center. So we need to. So there are things that we've been discussing and organizing ourselves for. Some of them have already been experimented and are working. For example, applying for research funds. This is something that will be ongoing. Also, commercialization of research and innovation. It is also something that the centers are trying. We have seen activities that are related to consulting activities that the centers are doing in organizations and companies. And also the relationship that the centers have with the partners is a very healthy relationship. For example, we can see that both centers have partnerships with institutions that are public, others are private, and then we can see them working together. For example, we have seen curriculum co-design with both public and private institutions, and we have also seen institutions providing assistance, financial assistance, which is very, very good. And we hope that we can develop this further. And one other area that we are talking about is the offering of micro credentials. We wanted to say short courses, but some people say they are slightly different. And the offering of micro credentials can bring a lot of revenue to the centers. And of course, we are still talking about many other things. And for your attention, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carlos. You just exceeded with the 3-4 minutes. Allow me to introduce Dr. Levy from Malawi. Dr. Levy Enea is a Secretary for Higher Education and formerly the Director for Higher Education in the Ministry of Education in Malawi, and is also a member of the RSC. Dr. Levy, we agreed also 10 minutes around there. So that, great, there's a mic next to you. Okay.
Allow me to talk from here.
Ben, it needs to.
Do we have it? Okay.
Oh, it's still.
Well, as it comes, let me just say
coming
that
down from Malawi.
I'll be talking on the value creation and future of Malawi Centers of Excellence. And in this, I'll mostly dwell on the topic project from project-based success to sustain the national impact. I hope you can see it there. All right, so let me begin by saying that what this program, the SC program, has done in Malawi is to fundamentally change how higher education institutions do operate. I'm sure you agree with me, listening from Prof. Kasam, Prof. DK, and Prof. Tembo there. You agree with me that there is that zeal, there is that yearning desire to do more. I can actually say for a fact that what SC has done to Malawi is to change the higher education institutions into some curious cats, if you like, really wanting to do more. In fact, in my language, local language, there is a saying that would translate literally to saying a goat is unstoppable when it tastes salt. And that's what these centers, this program has done to the centers, to the institutions in Malawi. So higher education institutions have transitioned from being beneficiaries to becoming co-investors in partnerships. So this shift is very crucial for achieving national development goals, such as the Malawi 2063 and the SDGs. So in short, this presentation, I will highlight the tangible values that have been created by the program, but also outline some strategies for long-term sustainability. I'll also try to present in the last slide some wishes for the next phase or the next initiative. Now, let's begin with the creation of value. What value has been created? First of all, I would like to talk about the strengthening of institutional capacity that has taken place. To begin with, we are looking at the enhanced infrastructure that has come about because of the project itself. For instance, at Luana, we are constructing, in fact, the first phase is already done. We've constructed the aquafish complex. We've also done renovations of lecture rooms. The labs and postgraduate hostels have been renovated. We've also established a big data hub with the high performance computing systems. And we have established the University Incubation Center. In fact, on the title slide, the building that you saw there is a product of this program. That beautiful building that you saw. At Nzuni, we are constructing the Asenub complex with specialized labs. An innovation hub is also being done, and an incubation center. Whereas at the University of Malawi, we are planning to construct, in fact, they've already taken huge steps, I think, in this, on the construction of crafts complex for postgraduate studies and an innovation hub. Whereas at the Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, we have constructed a perimeter brick fence around the university houses, but also we've purchased a house that is being used for postgraduate students housing. Furthermore, we are looking at the enhancement of human capital and research that have come about from this program. We are looking at the development of skilled workforce. So in this, I just want to highlight a few things here. Over 1,000 masters and 120 PhD students have been enrolled across the centers. And this includes, of course, 20% regional and international students. And over 2,000 staff and students exchanges have been supported for short courses and research visits nationally, regionally, and internationally. The program has also boosted the research output in that we've supported research that has led to well over 350 publications in higher tier international journals. In terms of quality assurance, you heard from the presentations that came before me that international and national accreditation of academic programs has been quite a key achievement in Malawi, which has changed indeed even the way we are doing things. Because before then, I think the language of international accreditation was not a common language. But now it's become part and parcel of the institutions. This has led to demand for programs that are being offered under this program, and indeed, even any other programs that the institutions are offering. There is also an enhanced leadership and project management skills as showcased with successful implementation of the SCs to date. And one thing that we are also proud of is the fact that the resource mobilization skills have been enhanced, and that there have been quite evidence from the revenues that have been generated. Now, furthermore, on value creation, we are looking at fostering innovation and economic links. So one thing that I want to start with there is the driving that has been there on commercialization. So incubation hubs and the TTOs, that's technological transfer offices, have been established at Nzuni, Luana, Unima, and these hubs do support the startups with mentorship training and, of course, networking. And apart from that, there are quite a large number of ongoing initiatives, which I would just like to mention a few here. The engagement of private insurers for livestock and insurance has taken place at Luana. There is also partnering with commercial banks on youth financial product, which was launched on June 10, 2025. We also developed context-specific innovations in soybean and groundnut value chains. This is part of the community action research project that Prof. Kassam was talking about. Insect-based livestock and fish feed has also been highlighted from the previous presentations. More importantly, at Nzuni, ASNUP has established a smart farm with a small irrigation system for advancement of innovative solutions in agri-food systems. At Kuhes, production of herbal-based cosmetics such as body lotions, shampoos, soap, hair food products are taking place. Whereas at Unima, under crafts, they are supporting a scaling up of National Agriculture Management Information System, and they're supporting the development of National Climate Information Portal.
And we are also looking at building strategic partnerships. Under this, well over 60 MOUs have been signed with research and private actors in the country. There is also generation, which I mentioned, of external funds. And here we are looking at already $4 million that has been generated as external funds. So these are really milestones that we are proud of. Now, one would be asking where from here, what happens after December and so on. We've talked about the path to sustainability. So I just want to share a few key strategies that we are looking at. Number one, we are looking at full institutional integration. And the primary strategy here is to integrate the centers into the university structures, plans, and budgets to ensure continued public investment. Already here, Aquafish has already done this, so it's part and parcel of the university. We are also looking at diversified revenue streams. So we are looking at commercialization, so to generate income from university-owned intellectual property, product sales, and taking equity in startups through strengthened incubation processes. And we're also looking at model enterprises, leveraging income from the model enterprises that have been set apart from the incubation facilities. For instance, food processing facilities, drone services, commercial farms, and so on and so forth. We are also looking at consultancy and training. In this, we are looking at expanding the consultancy services and to offer paid, demand-driven short courses. And we are also looking at securing future funding to establish a dedicated endowment and innovation fund by engaging partners and alumni. And finally, on this sustainability path, we are looking at resource mobilization, strengthening grant mobilization through joint proposal writing, submissions between universities and other stakeholders. Looking forward in terms of sustaining the momentum for the project for more impact, what I should do end with in this slide is what I started with, that the SC2 project, particularly the AF, has initiated research and innovations that are ready for commercialization. That's why the centers, the institutions want to do more. However, during this current time, investment and time were limited. Therefore, there is a need for more investment to scale up the innovations that have been developed. There is an urgent need to scale up innovations for more impact, including employment, skills, production of end products, and so on and so forth. To do this, ladies and gentlemen, we need modern infrastructure for maker spaces to design and produce various building materials. We need enhanced academia and industry partnerships to build a trust for co-investment. We need research prototypes to move out of lab to the market, but also seed innovation funds need to be established for investment in processes to get innovations to the market. And startup support and infrastructure for incubation. Like I said, what institutions are actually doing is to want to do more by scaling up what has happened in this particular initiative. Therefore, going forward, any initiatives that will be focusing on skills development and job creation will be welcome for Malawi institutions to participate and to be ready to take part. I was talking until now on behalf of the team from Malawi, which I should have introduced in a special way. I want to introduce the two NSC members. Dr. Jam, if you can just raise your hand, and Mr. Chaza. But we also have so these are the National Steering Committee members. We do have quite a vibrant National Steering Committee. But we also have the Vice Chancellor for Nzuni, Prof. Singin, if you're in, and as well as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, DVC for UNIMA. So, ladies and gentlemen, the ones that raised the hands are the ones you should ask questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So all Malawians in the room, be ready to answer questions. Awesome to listen to them make presentation. Very exciting to hear what's happening in Malawi and Mozambique. It gives us hope. And where we are, we just need that final push, to get over to where we need to be. Any question for these two gentlemen, please? Any reaction? I've got a lot of things here, but from the floor. We are busy on the laptops and on the phones. Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the great presentation. I have a question for Dr. Anea. You mentioned in the beginning that the ACEs have sort of transformed the higher education, how the higher education institutes function as a whole. I'm just curious to know, like, what specific policies that the ACEs, that the universities have adopted from the ACEs. For example, the infrastructure that the ACEs have built, are they being shared by other departments? Are the ACEs working with other departments to develop interdisciplinary programs, or, like those kind of interventions? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a quick fire question, Dr. Enea.
Yeah, I'm happy you joined the bandwagon of curious cats. So you are curious to know what policies and so on. I would say that to begin with, just the issue of revenue generation externally. It was there, but I think with this program, you see the PPC that was dealing with funds generation was really good, because it's like a matching funding. And I think going forward, this is what the investors have adopted and are adopting, and it will be good. They're here, the DVC is here, and the other colleagues are here. It would be good to make this a policy championed by us in the ministry, that I think this is what we should do and the way to go. If you look at the dedicated research facilities, so go to Luana, you'll find the aquafish. Previously, it was housed amongst the departments and so on. Maybe it depended on Professor Kasam having some space, but now Professor Kasam will be away. So DK away, next time somebody is away, but the center remains. And you look at the facilities that are there. I think for me, it gives me impression that we need to have dedicated research facilities. So this must be a policy, for instance, that every university, you must have dedicated research facilities. So these are just some of the things that are actually going into what needs to be done, but coming from the program.
Thank you very much. DVC from Malawi, you want to answer? Add to what the Secretary has said?
Yeah, I think I'll just add and say that I think it's the way in terms of doing things. So as DVC, I'll know that the center, they do things in a professional way. And I think it's the way, so this is my first time to come and attend, and I think I understand why they behave the way they do. And that the World Bank is always behind them, making sure that, how sometimes the university has its own way of doing things. And no one will tell us, but I think we've seen the way they do things. We've also we've developed a lot of policies. I don't have them at the back of my head, but I know we've developed policies. We have also developed a lot of interdisciplinary postgraduate programs. So not just necessarily in science, food, and agriculture, but also others have been able to come along and do it. And I think for us going forward, the way we think we can contribute to the sustainability project is to ensure that we incorporate the center into a university center. So that is it's never a World Bank center, or it's never a craft center, or whatever it is. It will become part and parcel of things we do. And if we incorporate it as a center, it means the director will be paid for by the university after the project runs out. And then we can also provide for the center the way it does. So I would say that yes, I think as a university we've benefited quite a lot. I think we'll be able to give a proper report when it's done. But yeah, I think we've benefited quite a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Any other comment, question? Let me stand to see those ones at the back. Going once, going twice. Ladies and gentlemen, one hand clap for this beautiful panel. Just one, just one. For our presenters from Malawi and Mozambique. Moja. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Jude. We are done here. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Jude, or is it Professor Ine? We overshot the runway? Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dairas. Can we clap for Dr. Dairas for taking us through that? Well, for us teachers, we do what is called a three-factor clap. Have you heard of that? Three-factorization, you know it? Oh, looks like we don't know it. Looks like my colleagues in Malawi don't know it. Who knows the three-factorized clapping? You start from 3, you bring it to 2, then you end with 1, and then you funga na kufunga. I don't know how to put it. Okay, that will do it last. But then allow me, ladies and gentlemen, at this particular time, we are moving towards the last session for today. That is the official closure of our 2-day interaction. And we are privileged. The facilitator for this closure will be Professor, well, he mentioned his name in a different way, but I'll mention it the way I know it. Professor Kahamba, the VC from Moi University. I told him that I'll call it the way. So Professor, you'll forgive me for that. These things are difficult. African names are similar, but you know, that gets adulterated with cross-border things and things of that nature. So I will invite you here to take the last bit of it for today and drive us through the closing session. So can we put our hands together for Prof as he comes through?
So thank you. In Eastern Uganda, my name is Kayemba. They put an Y-E. I don't know why it's finding it difficult. I'm a Kenyan from Western Kenya. So I have a lot of relatives in Uganda, including the speaker who has just left here. Now we want to close, and I've been given the honor to run this short ceremony. So we'll have, I don't know how to do it, but we'll have speakers. The Vice Chancellor of Eduardo Mondlane University, if you can come here. Closing remarks from the World Bank, if you can come over here. And then closing remarks from the Executive Secretary of IUCA, kindly take the front seat. Yeah, so I will kindly ask our guests who are sitting up here to take their time, because I think they're the last speakers. And I don't think I am privileged enough to stop any of them. So we'll just allow you to talk and close it for us. So let's begin with the person who would actually be host to all of us, the Vice Chancellor, Eduardo Mondlane University in Msumbiji.
So good afternoon, everyone. I see Portuguese is so difficult. Yeah, I hope that you have learned Portuguese during these 2 days. Muito boa tarde a todas e a todos. Queria começar por saudar os representantes do Banco Mundial e representantes do IOCEA, e todos os presentes, em particular os reitores e vice-reitores, meus pares, os estimados membros do Conselho Diretivo Nacional e Regional, os estimados coordenadores e vice-coordenadores dos Centros de Excelência, caros convidados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores. É com enorme sentimento de honra e profunda gratidão que me dirijo a todos nesta cerimônia de encerramento da 19ª reunião técnica de aconselhamento e da 25ª reunião do Comitê Diretivo Regional do projeto dos Centros de Excelência de África, acolhidas com entusiasmo pela Universidade Eduardo Mondlane, nesta cidade de Maputo. Embora não possa ter estado mais presente por causa das outras agendas institucionais, e este é o mês da celebração dos 50 anos da independência de Moçambique, que se vai celebrar a 25 de junho. Há uma série de eventos a decorrer. Neste momento que falo, há um evento que está a decorrer que conta com a presença do chefe de Estado, é onde também estou a participar. Por isso, consciente de que esses 2 dias foram marcados por intensos debates e francos, análises profundas e partilha de ricas experiências entre as lideranças acadêmicas, decisores políticos e parceiros de desenvolvimento. Saímos deste encontro com a maior certeza sobre os desafios que enfrentamos, mas, acima de tudo, mais certos de que juntos estamos a trilhar o caminho certo rumo à materialização da visão e missão dos Centros de Excelência. Caros convidados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, para a Universidade Eduardo Mondlane ter acolhido esta região regional foi mais do que uma honra institucional. Foi uma oportunidade valiosa para afirmarmos o nosso compromisso com a excelência acadêmica, a produção científica relevante e o fortalecimento das ligações entre o ensino superior, o setor produtivo e o desenvolvimento das comunidades. A UEM orgulha-se, por isso, de albergar 2 centros de excelência regionais, nomeadamente o Centro tanto em Engenharia e Tecnologia de Petróleo e Gás e em Sistemas Agroalimentares e Nutrição, que representam não apenas investimentos estratégicos, mas também um sinal claro de que Moçambique está preparado para contribuir ativamente para o desenvolvimento científico da África. Esses centros estão já a dar frutos concretos. Formação de quadros de alto nível, projetos de investigação aplicados e colaboração institucional com vários atores regionais e internacionais que asseguram a internacionalização não só da nossa instituição, mas também do país, a nível acadêmico. A nossa responsabilidade neste momento é assegurar a sua sustentabilidade, para que os ganhos obtidos não se percam com o término do fim deste financiamento. Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, um dos momentos mais marcantes deste evento será, sem dúvida, o terceiro dia, dedicado à 25ª reunião do Comitê Diretivo Regional. Nesta ocasião, discutir-se-á com profundidade não só o progresso do projeto, como também a possibilidade de uma nova fase de apoio por parte do Banco Mundial, o que representa uma janela estratégica para garantir a continuidade e o alargamento do impacto da iniciativa ACE. Contudo, como já foi sublinhado ao longo das sessões, a sustentabilidade dos centros depende cada vez mais dos próprios países. Os nossos governos, as universidades e parceiros nacionais e também regionais, por que não, têm o papel de assumir o ativismo, não só no financiamento, mas também na regulamentação e na integração dos centros nos sistemas nacionais de ensino superior. A este propósito, a OEM está pronta para fazer a sua parte. Trabalhamos com afinco para institucionalizar os nossos centros, diversificar fontes de financiamento e consolidar as redes de cooperação nacionais e internacionais, mas precisamos que esta visão seja partilhada e apoiada a todos os níveis. Na verdade, os centros da OEM são parte da Universidade de Ormolhane, têm infraestruturas da universidade, tem um pessoal que recebe salários da universidade e, portanto, esses são alguns passos que consideramos importantes para a sustentabilidade dos centros. O desafio há de ser continuar a ter o impacto e a energia que neste momento os centros têm. O sucesso do projeto do AS2 ou AS2 não se mede apenas em números, mas também na transformação de vidas, no fortalecimento das nossas instituições e na construção de pontes de conhecimento que unem os nossos países em torno de um objetivo comum: uma África mais preparada, mais resiliente e mais justa. Queria, por isso, agradecer em nome da Universidade do Ormolhane a todos os participantes pela dedicação, pelas contribuições valiosas e pelo espírito de colaboração que marcaram este encontro. O nosso profundo reconhecimento vai para o Banco Mundial, e o CEA, o Comitê Diretivo Regional, o Ministério da Educação e Cultura de Moçambique e todos os parceiros que tornaram possível este evento. Desejamos a todos que tenham tanto estado em Moçambique e tenham usufruído das facilidades que foram oferecidas, mas também da gastronomia que foi referida ontem pela ministra, e com o compromisso de que voltarão sempre a Moçambique. So now I want to wish you all safe trip back to your home, and you find your family and everyone in a good health. So thank you very much, and still enjoying Maputo. I know that this afternoon you'll be visiting our campus, so please enjoy your stay in our main campus, which is one of our campus. We have many campuses, not only in Maputo City, but also in other provinces in Mozambique. So enjoy your stay. Thank you very much.
So our universities shall be centers of excellence. Obrigado. Now, the next speaker is a representative of the World Bank. Please take the podium.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. As many of you know from our years of working together, I'm actually a very short speaker, so I will not be pressing your need for extra time. But first, let me acknowledge the hospitality, the warm welcome, and the ongoing support that we've received from the government of Mozambique, from the Vice Chancellor of Eduardo Mondlane University, and from his teams. This has been a fantastic 2 days. We will look forward to our visit at the university this afternoon. But for the past, 8+ years, we've received the same hospitality from Mozambique at different occasions and from all of the countries involved in ACE2. The World Bank is extraordinarily proud to be part of this project, to be a partner to all of your institutions and your countries. So thank you to the government of Mozambique. I also wish to thank the National Steering Committee members who are present, the Regional Steering Committee members who are present, Vice Chancellors, all of the ACE leaders and their teams, and the representatives of other civil society engagements who are here for your support to the ACE initiative. This ACE project, the African Centers of Excellence Initiative, just celebrated, as Professor Gaspard mentioned in his opening remarks, its 10th anniversary in Ghana in a very large event celebrating excellence in research and academic development across sub-Saharan Africa. What he may not have mentioned, maybe out of modesty, is that ACE2 was very, very, very well represented there, disproportionate perhaps to the size compared to what's happening on the west and central side. So yes, congratulations. Especially from the innovation elements, entrepreneurs coming out of your institutions, the effectiveness of these investments to generating incubation centers and outcomes beyond what is expected, beyond what was defined from the regional results frameworks. It's a testament to your hard work. It's a testament to the leadership at your universities and at your centers. So congratulations to all of you who are here. I also want to acknowledge the hard work of IUCA, from Professor Gaspard to your new project coordinator, Jude, who this is his first TAM. So congratulations to you, Jude, for instituting a very, very effective, well-run sort of, it's a challenge and you're most welcome here. And it's also great to welcome you back after your leadership in Uganda at your own ACE. To your whole team, however, it's a complex undertaking to bring all these people together in one place to deliver it so quickly and so effectively. So congratulations to you all. And then finally, just a congratulations to the ACEs. I know the new ACEs in Malawi do not know me as well as Professor DK does, as the Mozambique Center for Oil and Gas and Professor Luis do. But we have acknowledged and monitored your hard work over the last 3 years. And we also wish to acknowledge that you have not had the same opportunity for implementation that the other ACEs had, and you have faced a timeline that's been quite constrained, and a big expectation from your institutions and from your governments to achieve above and beyond perhaps what you may have thought you could accomplish 3 years ago. And yet you are. We are on track to achieve everything that was planned in this project by the end of December. And with that, you are a testament to your hard work. You're a testament to undertaking something that may have seemed impossible, but has proven to be possible, and then indicates we can do even more in the next round of ACE. So my last point is going to be on this, which I know is the big elephant in the room. What's going to happen with ACE? We are undertaking an expanded effort to understand what governments want in the region, what your universities want in the region, to understand better and to plan for a next phase of ACE. We have been given space to do this. So IUCA is going to be embarking on some exploratory conversations with your governments and with your institutions to get a sense of the expressions of interest on that side. What technical areas, what kind of commitments. We, as the World Bank, will be doing our own exploration with your governments and ministries of finance to determine their commitment. Between those two exercises, we will come together in the next 6 to 12 months with a plan for what ACE Futures will look like. So that's our plan from our side. I will stay here to answer questions, which I know many of you will have, to the best of my ability with the information I have, so that you can leave here feeling like you have something to draw on that's official and coming from the World Bank. What I cannot say to you right now, though, and I know this is a big disappointment for many of you, there will not be an extension of the project. I know I was very clear on that. There isn't even a guarantee that your centers in particular will be funded in the next round. That will all be determined by your government and by your institution. The World Bank, as you know, do not choose your centers. We just execute the project. So with that, you will need to go back and be part of that dialogue on the ground to determine what role you might play. I'll just close by saying from Dr. Levy, this idea that ACE has led to a paradigm shift in how you execute your higher education systems and how your universities operate is music to my ears. Because as many of you know, I am the global lead for tertiary education at the World Bank, not just the task team leader for the ACE project. So I work globally with university systems around the world to improve exactly this idea that there's a new change, there's a new idea around what higher education can do and is meant to do, and what your institutions can be doing beyond the traditional to be more around innovation, around job outcomes, around delivering for your society as a whole. So this is an exceptionally good outcome. We're very proud. I know this is true for Mozambique as well. You articulated it extremely well, and so thank you very much. And thank all of you. Again, I'll stay here for questions as much as you wish to ask. Thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you very much. So the only thing I've heard her saying, and what I'll take home, is that the World Bank will hold your hand. That's what I heard her saying. But she also said the next phase depends on your government. So finally, the commission secretary, the executive secretary for IUCA, Professor.
Thank you very much, moderator. I think my role will be very much easy because I articulated my intervention on 3 points. The first one was appreciation. The second one was kind of, let me say, congratulations. And the last one was commitment. Some of the two were preempted by the first speakers, but I'm going to just navigate through it and say a few things. The World Bank representative, Roberta, thank you very much. Vice Chancellor, our good friends, stakeholders, regional steering committee members, national steering committee members, facilitators, thank you very much for making this conference a successful one. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the hospitality from the government of the Republic of Mozambique. Let me confess that it is the first time to physically be in this country. Of course, I used to be landing there, but staying in their plane and then continuing my journey. But this time, I think my people have been like misguiding me. They told me, oh, you know, Mozambique is very hot. So I was like, should I go there? I really fear the hot environment. But when I came, they lied to me. It's a very cool environment. So I enjoyed my stay so far. And I want to appreciate this hospitality of this beautiful country. I want also to appreciate the commitment of the university leadership, the center leaders, the speakers, the experts, forum. We do appreciate your contribution to this project. And we got exactly the message that was delivered here. We understand that we still have some challenges in terms of caps, but the commitment to go along with it in the next 6 months was taken, so we do appreciate this. I want really to congratulate the center leaders, and especially those who got already these incubation centers. There is a long way to go. Of course, I belong to Aquafish, being one of the fish specialists as a background training. And I appreciate the way they have gone up to developing those products. But again, now how to make an impact in the country beyond the current scope. I heard the Deputy Vice Chancellor talking about having the center inside the university. That's okay. But what will happen? Will the university swallow the center, or will the center swallow the university? Because that's where the best practices are, you know, when you mix two entities, either one is swallowed or you just get a balanced, you know, integration. And I would wish that the center swallow the university. Of course, don't tell your vice chancellor. Because we have now successful center of excellence now. You are making a great impact. And I would have wished that to impact the university so that it can become the center of excellence now, the university of excellence that we want to drive the agenda in Africa. So centers of excellence, incubation centers, be the unstoppable goat that Dr. Enea mentioned. Just move ahead. Don't mind about the borders. This is the African higher education centers of excellence. Of course, now we are talking in the context of East and Southern, but you are not limited. I'm going to really appreciate this particular time, the World Bank. You know, we might be having a lot of ideas all around, but there is a need of that unlocking situation for those ideas to become like product or services. That's exactly what the World Bank did. In a very political context, I would request you to clap for them. This is you making this a political context. It's not me. Thank you very much for that. I want to also talk about this sustainability of issues. Of course, again, I was talking about integrating the centers in the university. How do we do that? I believe at this particular point, as Inter-University Council for East Africa, we can still play a role in terms of networking the centers. Because whatever you have achieved is exactly what Africa needs. What you are delivering is training, is needed somewhere in another country in Africa. So how do we reach out? I think this networking will help us create an environment whereby the center will no longer be a national center, but will remain at that particular level of being an African center of excellence. Let us think about it. Let us also think about commercialization of research. How do we go beyond begging the business people that don't trust us, but imposing our situation as the really business partner so that we can make a deal? I heard Darius talking about agent who can negotiate for us. Can we create agent for each and every center in Africa so that they can market what we are doing in our center? On the accreditation process, I think here there is a need for us to critically think on how our national regulatory bodies can be strengthened. Because a strong and relevant program will make a critical product at the end. And I think we have an experience on our side. We have created in East Africa a forum of regulatory bodies, country regulatory bodies, whereby they sit and update each other on how to unlock not only the accreditation processes, but also the recognition of qualifications to allow mobility of skills and labor. Now we have a continental framework. This is the African Continental Free Trade Area. And education sector, higher education sector, must play a prominent role to unlock that particular mobility at African continent. I think it is open. It has just started to operate. And I think we need to really be very curious to see whatever opportunity we can get there. And this will really support this regional integration or maybe continental integration. The critical aspect is how do we impose ourselves as critical business partners, and that can come through the university industry collaboration strategies that we will take. Anyway, I believe that as university leaders, we can critically think about how to improve our role. On the next phase, what I can commit, as I say, is we are available as facilitators. We shall do whatever it takes to make sure that we reach out all the potential partners, all the potential skills for a successful next phase. We have learned from our mistakes for the first phase of Asset 2 and the current phase, and I believe we shall be we shall improve on how we move forward. I know there is a regional steering committee meeting happening tomorrow, and I want to commit that we shall report the progress as it was reported in this room, but we shall also require from that particular high-level committee a strategic direction to take as IUCA for us to play our role as facilitators. With this, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for making this conference a success. Have a nice trip back to your places. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Allow me to hand over this steering wheel to somebody who works at IUCA. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Apparently, the moderator did not request you to take leave. So allow me request a very important dignitaries here to take leave. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminders, all presenters, please kindly share your presentations with us so that we can share with the participants. Remember that we have a visit to the university at 2:15 p.m. So please have your lunch early and then we get there. We have a farewell dinner offered by IUCA at 6 p.m. at the main hotel restaurant level 1. I thought you'd clap for that. You don't want dinner? Hey, we have dinner, so please, it has been prepared, it has been procured, it has been paid for. So please don't miss because the food will be put to waste. In any case, we have paid for it. So our colleagues from Mozambique, please don't have supper at home, come for the dinner. We request that all the delegates to register right our registration desk while they go for lunch. That's very important for those who have not registered. And most importantly, please, can we put our hands together to thank those who have been attending online. Online participants, especially our RSC members who have attended online. For all these 2 days, we are deeply very grateful for your time. So I've been reminded that travel to the university, departure will be here at exactly 2:15. I wanted to say African time, then I realized African time is beyond 2:15. So please, 2:15 sharp. That's how we call it. I wish ourselves good lunch and enjoy your lunch and continue to interact, continue to, network, as they say it, and learn from each other. Thank you very much and God bless you all.
O objetivo do centro é contribuir para a transformação agroalimentar em África através da realização da pesquisa aplicada de alta qualidade e, portanto, capacitação de recursos humanos na área de pós-graduação, portanto, quer dizer, mestrado e doutoramento. Nesta perspectiva, portanto, o centro lançou, portanto, chamada para a bolsa de estudo para financiar os estudantes de mestrado e doutoramento de países africanos, e desse processo conseguimos selecionar 174 bolseiros, entre moçambicanos e estudantes de outros países, no total de 18 países, incluindo Moçambique, que estão a estudar na Universidade do Admongano, portanto, em 3 áreas de excelência do centro, que é a área de sistemas agroalimentares de nutrição, a área de mudanças climáticas e a área de análise de políticas agrárias.
This opportunity has given me the chance to be able to equip my research skills such that I know when I go back to my country, I'll be an asset to be able to add to the current research that is being done to evaluate the issues to do with the food insecurity and also the nutrition aspect.
Esta formação vai contribuir, primeiro, para o desenvolvimento pessoal, como profissional do ramo agrário, e vai contribuir também para aquilo que é o desenvolvimento do país, sendo Moçambique um país em que uma das atividades prioritárias para o desenvolvimento é a agricultura. Também vai contribuir no desenvolvimento da formação do pessoal através do ensino, pesquisa, extensão.